happened to you before? Oh my god. Oh my god. I don't know where the hell my creativity went. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, Storytelling with Ev. Today we're going to do part 2 of the 4-part series around accessing your creativity once again. And step 2 is kinda tricky because it's all about being open to learning. Now, I just bear with me for a second. So, when you're in the process of learning something, you're really open to all possibilities. And when you're trying to access your creativity, you need to be completely open. So, in Osho's book, Unleashing the Forces Within, it talks about how you really need to not be so knowledgeable about things. And granted, I love me some knowledge and I love gathering knowledge because, hey, when you're researching, that's what you're doing, right? So, but the tricky part is, and the balance that you really need to kind of cultivate when you're in the process of this, is to not be a know-it-all. And yeah, I know, like, how would you be able to do that, right? But at the same time, our ego likes to do that, especially when it's just like, I know what I'm talking about now. I've spent like X amount of hours researching this, and therefore, I know everything about it. I'm very much like that because I like to show off sometimes, but it's all about being in a process of learning. Because when you're in the process of it, your ego isn't so like, hey, you know everything, so there's nothing else that you need to figure out. And you don't need to be open to what other things could happen. And you don't need to be open to what other possible or creative things that could come through. So the whole point is to keep an open channel between you and your creativity, your muse, to make sure that they have a place to land their plane. I don't know why I'm using the term land their plane, but bear with me. But for your muse to land its plane into your brain so that it can show up and help you out. So one important thing that you need to do as a creative person, you need to get rid of the whole shoulds and should nots. Ooh, I love shoulding myself because I don't know why. I don't know if it's just because I've gotten so accustomed to other people telling me what I need to be doing or what I should be doing and or shouldn't be doing, and therefore I've internalized all of that and it becomes this whole battle. And so I don't know if you feel like this, but for me personally, I feel like my creativity gets really stifled when it's all like, well, I should be doing it like this, or I shouldn't be doing that because that's not supposed to work. It just becomes this big war inside my head, and then creativity is just like, hey, I'm like right here. It becomes that soft voice, and I'm straining to hear it, but it's not coming through. The creative person needs to have vast amounts of space because you need that space in order to let things in, to let that creativity come in. And not only that, not only to let your creativity in, but to let your spontaneity start growing. And creativity and spontaneity kind of go hand in hand because you need that spark, and you also need that spontaneity to kind of like to give you that fuel to kind of move forward. If you don't actually take the opportunity to grab hold of that spontaneity and that creativity at the same time, it kind of becomes really lackluster. I mean, how many of us have ever gotten ideas where you're like, that idea is so epic? I know I've done this, especially when I've been high, but it's just like, I'm thinking, oh my god, this idea is so freaking epic. It would be the coolest thing ever. And then I don't do anything with it. And it just kind of dies off. It's like that car that sputters and then it just dies on the side of the road in the middle of nowhere. And you're thinking, well, crap. What the hell am I supposed to do now? And to never become so knowledgeable about some things. Haven't you ever met those people where they're so knowledgeable about a specific topic that they're not willing to entertain any any sort of like outside opinion about it? And I mean, you're just thinking like, holy crap, man, like let's loosen, let's pull that stick from our butt just a little bit. I mean, let's just relax about it, because there's so many things out there that we don't know, and we need to be comfortable with that. I remember, like, as a kid, I was so afraid of people thinking I was stupid. I was called stupid for the longest time just by my family. But I mean, it's just like when you're basically told you're stupid, you don't want to appear stupid in front of other people, right? And for the longest time, I was so scared of people thinking I was dumb because I didn't know the answer. And I was afraid to actually admit that to anyone. So I was just that quiet person who never really participated in anything in class. Ugh, God, childhood trauma, right? Anyone else? The whole point of this is to say to live in the moment. Yeah, I know that's a bit trite, but there is freedom in the moment, because the freedom comes from not knowing what's going to happen next. And because you have that freedom of that moment, your creativity also has the ability to come in and take over and just be like, hey, let's just do something really crazy right now. Because of that freedom of that moment, your your creativity will be truly original, instead of copying someone else's discipline, instead of copying someone else's way of learning. You will come into it yourself, and that's a huge part in accessing your creativity again. Being open to learning about things, being open to the point where you're okay with someone coming in and telling you, hey, you know what, about this topic, well, I know this, blah, blah, blah. And you're thinking, instead of going, oh, hell no, I know what I'm talking about, you can be open to actually hearing what they have to say, and maybe they can add something to it. And that might actually spark your creativity to go off in different areas too. And I know I've had that experience before, especially when I'm writing a book. And I was so focused in on one thing, and it became so narrow. But once someone actually said, and they opened my mind up to something else, it was like, holy crap, there's a whole other world out there that I could really explore. I hope this has helped. If you have any questions at all around creativity or accessing it, or learning more about it, there's still 2 other parts to this 4-part series. So be sure to tune in and hear about the rest, so you can have fun with your creativity and play like you've never played before. Okay, we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.